everybody, I'm Tiffany Smith and you're listening to Let's Talk About It. On this show, we're talking about some of the most important questions that young women have about their health. With me today, we have Dr. Streicher, who is a gynecologist and an expert in this field. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. It's great to be here.
You know, I think there's a lot of girls who want to talk about this stuff but don't have anybody to go to.
Well, I think the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that a lot of women don't know where to go to get good information. There's this whole gap period. You know, you're too old to go to a pediatrician, but you're not old enough that you have a regular doctor established. And while you can go to the web and there's a lot of good information out there, there's just so much that a young woman needs to know to stay healthy.
Yeah, and I actually talked to some women on the street in New York who had a lot of questions. Let's take a look at this video. Hey, we're here in New York City, and today on my show, Let's Talk About It, we're talking about women's medical issues. So what's something that you've been wondering about?
You know, I've always heard about HPV, but I'm wondering what exactly is it and who gets it?
That's a great question. Now, Dr. Streicher, my girlfriends and I were actually just talking about this. What's the real deal with HPV?
Well, HPV stands for human papillomavirus, and this virus affects both males and females. It's not just a woman's virus. And it is the most common sexually transmitted virus, but you don't have to have intercourse to get it. And in fact, any unprotected direct genital contact with someone who has HPV can cause the virus to be transmitted.
How can you tell if a guy has it?
That's the problem. You can't. And you know, a lot of guys will say to you, I've been checked for everything, I've been screened for everything. And first of all, I mean, come on, let's get real. Not every guy is completely honest. But even if a guy truly believes that he has been screened for everything, there's no way to screen for HPV in men.
I mean, since you can't see any symptoms on a guy, what's the best way for a young woman to protect herself?
Well, abstinence is the only way to completely make sure that you're not going to get HPV, but barring that, your best bet is to practice safe sex. Assume every single guy has HPV. We know that using a condom is going to dramatically reduce the risk of getting HPV, but we also know it's not going to completely protect you. See your doctor. There's all kinds of information as far as other things you can do.
Well, thank you so much for being here. This information was very enlightening. Thank you guys for listening. That's it for this edition of Let's Talk About It. I'm Tiffany Smith, and we'll see you next time.